So
I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt you. I just want to
no,
get
go
your
ahead.
thought on something. My bad, because it just came to me. I wasn't trying to interrupt you. Do you think, voice, and I want your real thoughts on this. I really want you to think about this. Do you think that we're entering an age where professional wrestling doesn't work on national television anymore?
Yeah, that's what exactly where I was going with it. Yeah,
Really? Okay. All right.
I
All right.
do.
Go ahead and break it down. Break it down.
Yeah, well, because I mean, as you see, you have like WWE. They have, for example, Raw has built its brand on USA. They have
Mm-hmm.
went other places. It did not work. It was not successful.
Mm-hmm.
USA carried Raw, but USA doesn't go back into the Attitude Era, and that's where Triple H, Shawn Michaels, all those guys know that this makes money. This product
Yeah.
makes money when you're being on the edge of everything.
Yeah.
You're, I mean, they brought in issues that affected everyday people in the Attitude Era. Now that you're on Netflix, you can appease more of those fans like that because a lot of fans walked away after that era was over.
Yeah.
But some came back because of the things they do. I mean, there wasn't a large majority that walked away, but there was some fans that did walk away. They found outlets. They found ECW. They found, and then ECW was gone. So then, you get into a point to where sometimes the the place that you're performing at, the audience changes
Yeah.
because you're not on stage 24/7. So your audience will change because I'm dedicated to certain channels. Comedy Central. I
Yeah.
will watch stuff on Comedy Central just because it's on Comedy Central because I
Right.
grew up with that. That's what made me laugh. They kind of know my type of entertainment, so they
Right.
provide that for me. Now, if you were to put wrestling on there, you're only going to watch it so much, and I don't really think people are going to find it because it's going to be it's a it's a package you have to get this channel and all that. When you have it centered, wrestling as a whole, when you have it centered, as they said in Field of Dreams, they will come. If you build it, they will come
Yeah.
because there's so many storylines, there's so many fun things in wrestling you can do that can potentially be offensive to people. And I understand that. And they are working very hard to not make those mistakes. And I think Netflix will give them the grace and the allowance to do what WWE is very, very capable of.
Yeah. No, I think you got a point. I'm just sitting here thinking about it and I'm like, the more I'm thinking about it and more the thought is blossoming in my mind. I think that professional wrestling really has reached a point where it transcends national television because when you're on a television program, especially on a certain one, there's only so much things that there's only so much stuff that the owners of the channel is going to really let you get away with, and with with censorship and everything, I think it's what is it, the FCA, or whatever it may
FCC.
be. FCC, thank you. The FCC, there's stuff you can't do on TV. There's things you can't say on TV. You got to bleep it out and stuff like that. And I just feel like that puts a ceiling on what wrestling can be. When we have to uh, abide by the rules of the owners of the channel or the way certain sponsorships want their image to be portrayed with, of course we want, it's all about the almighty dollar, so we got to play ball and stuff like that. But sometimes it's like, okay, well, here's the thing: artistically, wrestling can get to a point where it's going to be, it's got to be uncomfortable sometimes,
Yeah.
depending on the story or the people involved or the feud involved. Wrestling's got to be uncomfortable sometimes. And I just really feel like that always staying within those parameters of, oh, you can't say this or you can't do that. I understand, like you said, there's certain things that don't really want to touch because it could offend somebody's sensitivities and whatnot. And I totally get that. And some of that egregious stuff, it's just not even needed in wrestling. But there's certain things that you do and certain paths that you take in professional wrestling that you have to go there. You have to be uncomfortable. We got to see some bloodshed. We got to see certain words used. We have to see somebody pulling up and invading somebody's home and running up in their house and throwing them through their window. We have to see these type of acts of violence that happen. We had to see Brian Pillman, pull out a gun on Stone Cold Steve Austin. We had to see Triple H throw Randy Orton through the window of his own home. We had to see Stephanie get sacrificed. These are all things that we had to see because it's like, this is where we're at. It took it there. You know what I'm saying? It took it to that extra level of, oh, this is uncomfortable. And sometimes you got to get there. And when you're on national television, they're not always going to understand that vision. I think Netflix is a perfect place for Monday Night Raw because when it's time to take it there, Netflix is like, hey, this is the Wild Wild West. You do whatever.